Why is St. Barts special? It's one of those places that it's small, feisty, but mighty, shall I say. It's a small island, and it's where people go to enjoy privacy, but also a place where people go to be seen. I often like to describe St. Barts as the Monaco of the Caribbean. A lot of people will be able to relate to the luxury side of it. It's very generic, right? But if you have perhaps been to the south of France, have experienced Monaco in the south of France, the whole feel of it, you will then be able to relate what we say when we say it's pretty much the Monaco of the Caribbean. It's one of those Instagram favorites if you want it to be. A lot of the time you see things on Instagram where, it's like, well, it's only on Instagram, but St. Barts is one of those places where it actually is exactly the way they show it. That's a good part if you like to see it that way. Having been there and having spent quite a bit of time there, I would say the main draw is the luxury side of it. It's very sophisticated, it's very prestige, it's very high end when it comes to restaurants and beach clubs and dining and the overall feel of the place. Not just the stunning water surrounding it, the snorkeling, the underwater life, but just the overall high end of it. I would recommend flying into St. Martin, which has an international airport, and then jump onto the boat and head to St. Barts. Another way is also you can jump on a small plane, which is also a very exciting way to get over, but it's definitely worth the experience, especially landing in St. Barts at one of the shortest runways in the world, which is only 640 meters long. St. Barts is a top destination for New Year's. I've been there during New Year's and it's super extra. It's got all the bells and whistles, and it's definitely worth considering. Another beautiful part of St. Barts is that to match the island atmosphere and the sophistication of the island, the yachts absolutely match. If we look at the yachts that are available in St. Barts, they are on par with the south of France. Luckily, a lot of the boats actually run between St. Barts, or let's say Caribbean, and the south of France, the Mediterranean, so the yachts move depending on the season. So the beauty is that the yachts that we do find in the south of France do make their way over to the Caribbean when the season starts. The massive and a very, very big plus with these yachts is that they are top of the range, first of all. We're talking 40 to 60, 70 meter motor yachts, which is just absolutely pure luxury at its finest. But the best part is that in the Caribbean, the VAT falls away, which in south of France is 20%. So when you look at the overall charter rates, you add the VAT in the south of France and you don't pay VAT at all in the Caribbean. We always like to plan with the client very well in terms of what they want out of the charter, what do they want to see, how much do they want to travel in a day, is the aim of the vacation to just relax, do a few anchorages here and there, or do you want to see the whole place? So that's very good to understand in the initial inquiry so that we can get a good understanding of what we're working with. If we're looking at the Leeward Islands in particular, when I say Leeward Islands, I'm referring to St. Martin, Nevis St. Kitts, St. Barts, Antigua. It is a very nice island group, not just because it's beauty and what it has to offer, but also the distances between the islands are not too grand, let's say. If we take, for an example, a 50-meter motor yacht traveling at 12 knots, experiencing the Leeward Islands within that 7-day range is very good. I would suggest flying into St. Martin. That's always a very good airport. It's an international airport and is very well accessible for our American clients. Then you've got the surrounding islands. You've got Anguilla, you've got Tintamare, which is beautiful. You head over to St. Barts, Nevis St. Kitts, especially if you want to do St. Barts as your main feature. St. Barts is located very conveniently for that. And then you've got, you can go all the way down to Antigua. What I often suggest, if you do want to go down all the way down to Antigua, I would recommend starting in St. Martin and ending in Antigua. So that will allow you to, go at your own pace, explore the places, Take your time. Don't feel rushed, because that's the last thing anybody wants on their vacations, to feel rushed. It's always good to communicate that with your broker in terms of what your plans are, what is your vision of the charter, right? So as much as we're trying to get you on the best boat, it's also for us to sell you the whole experience, right? Because a lot of the times, especially myself, have spent a lot of time in those areas, whether it's pleasure or business, and we do have the ins and outs of these places. And we're able to relate because we also spend time in other places where you like to travel to. So we are able to have those experiences for you and then guide you and manage your expectations as best as we can.